Good morning, everyone. It's a little bit past 10:30 now, so I would like to call the meeting to order. First item for business is the approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes for January 28th, 2026. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion. Is there a second? Motion and a second. All in favor? And the next item on the agenda is the treasurer's report. Val isn't here today, so Executive Director Mike Carroll will be reading those reports for Val.
Thank you, Paula. Wow, you're getting right through this. Holy smoke. Lunch isn't coming until 11:30. So, okay, I'll do my best to follow Belle's footsteps here. I was able to go over everything with her before we presented this. First quarter financial reports. The first thing on the list is the financial statements, budget versus actuals, and the profit and loss. I'm pleased to report that our Q1 2006 financial position is on track and well aligned with our total budget revenue and expenses projections. All financial statements appear to be in order, and we will examine these metrics in greater detail during the Q1 budget reconciliation review that follows. Any questions on the financials?
Why are the municipal dues so low?
They're done quarterly. Well, that's quarterly, right? That's only 1/4 of billing.
We run out of that.
I'll work out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Next is current bills payable. March payables present no unusual concerns and remain comfortably within budget, with all expenses falling within normal monthly operating parameters. You will notice that a new payee near the bottom, Elon Financial Services, CC. This is the Wastehub credit card issued by the first, which will replace the need for the team members to use personal credit cards for operational expenses going forward. Total operating expenses for March being $17,877.94.
Is there a motion to approve the payment of the March payables? So moved. Have a motion and a second. All in favor? Okay, moving on.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Portfolio performance. That's these two eyes on them. Q1 2026, not very good, 0.37%, but 1 year performance is 4.73%. Full calendar year has been positive for the market overall. Returns have been more muted in early 2006 due to geopolitical volatility, while the outlook related to ongoing global conflicts remains uncertain. Our advisors do not expect near-term volatility to negatively impact long-term portfolio. Municipal Wastehub portfolio remains well diverse across fixed income markets with improving yields as Federal Reserves continue its rate cutting cycle. The Fed is taking a wait and see approach as the U.S. labor market remains soft, even with improving payroll and unemployment figures. Any questions on this?
He's not missing Bob's comment. I'm sure he'd have something to say. Sir.
How's everybody doing?
Good question.
I asked Bob to join us for lunch today.
It's
Great.
Great to see you.
You can fill it in on the investment side afterwards on 1510.
Okay, moving on. Next, we have first quarter 2006 budget reconciliation. Overall revenue targets are being met. A few items worth noting. MWS utilities and ground maintenance is running slightly high, which was expected as we approach the facility restart. Legislative advocacy reimbursement is at 50%, reflecting the fact that Q1 and Q2 payments have already been made with reimbursement received for half of the amount. DEP grant funds came in during March, which is why that is at 100%. Interest and income is running slightly low, though it's too early to have any concerns with that. Any questions on revenue before I get into expenses? Q1 expenses are performing well against budget. A few items to note. Workers and unemployment compensation is currently 41%. This is paid annually with smaller adjustment payments made throughout the year. Dues and membership reflects a similar pattern as many of these are paid annually up front. And then once again, legislative and advocacy payments have been made both for Q1 and Q2 with reimbursements received for half the amount. Summary, while it's still early in the year, everything is on track. Revenues at 27% and expenses at 18%. A strong and encouraging start to 2026.
I have a question about the MWS expenses. Can you tell us, since I was just at the plant, can you tell us a little bit about the grounds maintenance? What's happening with that? What is that?
Ground, and it's just, that's just on the line item, that's all utility. So the
Oh.
MWS, it says utilities, grounds and maintenance, where we're the landlord, that line item would also do if we had to do anything, but all that money right now is utilities. We pay the power bill and then they reimburse the power bill. So the line item is called utilities, grounds and maintenance. There hasn't been any ground.
On my text, but I was at the plant.
I saw that. I let everybody know. We weren't live though.
But I was thinking about the jail because there was on the road. I was like, well, but that would be a great project for those inmates. And I did see some people out on the road doing some work. I don't know what they were doing, but
Stay in the road. When I left, they just started doing it. So I believe that they try to go up and down the road once a week or twice a week. So
Nice.
it's just. I see the road a lot too when I might say a couple, but they've done a great job. So. That wraps that up for the financials and the treasurer's report.
Next item on the agenda then will be the report from the executive director and any committee reports.
Thank you, Paula. First, I want to start with Happy Earth Day and plus Happy Administrative and Professional Day to Barbara. We appreciate everything you do. It's been, without question, one of the most significant quarters in Waste Hub history. Let's start with our tonnage data. In Q1, our members generated 20,933 tons of municipal solid waste. That's an increase of 1,636 tons compared to the 19,521 tons in Q1 of 2025. I'm incredibly proud to report that this quarter we launched our first ever Municipal Waste Hub and Municipal Waste Solutions Scholarship Program at $10,000 investment in the next generation of leaders from our member communities. This is the first program of its kind for our organization, and the response has been remarkable. Outreach launched February 18th with a hard copy package distributed to all Waste Hub member municipalities. From there, a full electronic package went out to all 115 member high schools, every university, trade school, and college in Maine. The program has been promoted through Constant Contact, Facebook pages, and featured in a full-page advertisement in MMA's Maine Town and Country. MMA also posted the scholarship program on their website. We received just over 40 applicants for our very first annual scholarship launch. I think we should be all tremendously encouraged by the overwhelming community response. So much of this achievement is thanks to the board's outstanding work in reaching out to your schools and posting across your community social media platform. So congratulations to all of you for amazing success. The application deadline was April 13th, and we'll be discussing them today in our executive session, in one of our executive sessions. I'm also excited to share another first for us this quarter. After thorough hiring process that kicked off with our communications committee back in February, with postings on MMA, Indeed, ZipRecruiter, and Jobs in Maine, followed by a competitive interview process, we are thrilled to announce that Wastehub has hired their first marketing education outreach coordinator. We welcome Reagan Everling.
You got it.
Thank you.
Ready? See you.
To the Wastehub team. Reagan's first day is May 4th. She brings a strong background in digital marketing and paid media with experience developing advertising campaigns across Google Ads and Facebook, creating blogs and brochures, and grant writing, among much more. Reagan will work directly with me and provide support to the board of directors. Her role serves as a primary liaison between Wastehub and our member municipalities for developing and implementing comprehensive waste and recycling education materials and community program support for sustainable goals. She will be developing and implementing strategies to promote Wastehub services, increasing community engagement, and building partnerships with business organizations and residents. We're very much looking forward to what she brings to the team. Reagan will be joining us for this afternoon for lunch, so please say hi and welcome her to the organization. Legislation. Augusta was also active in Q1. I want the board to know that Wastehub has been consistently present and engaged at the table throughout legislation session. In January, I attended the Maine State Chamber of Commerce Environmental Policy Forum, Maple Hill Farm in Howell, a full-day solutions-focused forum bringing together business leaders, policymakers, and environmental experts on Maine's economic and environmental future. In February, I attended E2 Tech's legislative breakfast at the Governor's Mansion Hall in Augusta. This was an outstanding moment for the organization. Both MWS and Wastehub received several positive mentions at the environmental panel, including from Senator Denise Tepler, Suzanne Miller of DEP, Simon Tripp of Casella, Vanessa Berry of Natural Resource Council of Maine. We were in the room and we were being talked about in a positive light. Throughout February and March, I provided testimony and participated in multiple E&R committee work sessions focused mostly on key bills, LD 474, the battery stewardship bill, which would hold producers responsible for keeping lithium batteries and covered batteries out of the solid waste stream, critical for our facilities. And 38 MRSA 1310. Which addresses financial insurance requirements for solid waste facilities, ensuring a level playing field. Language on both bills is nearing completion with direction we are pleased with. We also successfully weighed in on a bill that would have reclassified the Androscoggin River that could have potentially affected our J wastewater treatment plant. Community engagement was robust this quarter. I presented to residents at Mount Desert Island and at Northeast Harbor Library alongside MDI Public Works Director Brian Hinkle. To a full house with excellent engagement. Later that same week, I presented to the Bucksport Town Council, also a strong attendance. There was well with enthusiastic questions from both council members and residents. I had the opportunity to meet with Jay, Town Manager, Public Works, and Select Board members to provide a comprehensive, detailed update on the current statuses of JCO operations. I also met with our new board members, David and George, at the Orono Wastehub office to provide a high-level orientation on Wastehub's history, permit direction, and projects in progress. This quarter, we spent time working with 4 of the waste flow community, Bangor, Brewer, Handing, and Orono, communicate to a commercial hauler, that they were operating out of compliance with the waste flow control ordinance in those communities. Communities were asked to reach out to the hauler directly so the matter could be resolved quickly. I want to give a special thank you to 3 representatives who sit at this very table who reached out swiftly and professionally. I'm happy to report that the hauler now appears to be operating within compliance. On the communications front, we received our check for $37,500 from the DEP Waste Grant for education and outreach, and we are already putting it to work. I've already had my first meeting with the Design Lab team to review the storyboard for the next Waste Hub video. Also, the new website, which I just sent you all the link, launched this week. This year's MRA annual conference was April 13th through the 14th at the Somerset. Waste Hub was a sponsor of the event. Every conference attendee received one of the new reusable rebranded bags, which I have provided you all with one today. DEP had a strong presence at the conference, as they typically do, with 17 staff members in attendance. Several sessions addressed waste reconciliation and collection points, not reconciliation, spokes and collection points. In a few incidents, the Waste Hub and Smoke model was specifically mentioned in those sessions. Operations and administration front, few additional operation highlights worth noting. We finally secured the company credit card, which we will be used for operational expenses reconciled monthly by the treasurer. We completed and filed the Waste Hub's main annual state business report well ahead of the June deadline. MWS and Waste Hub also filed our DEP waste processing and transfer station annual reports. Special thank you to Waste Hub's own Barbara. She played a big role in getting those reports completed. And thank you, Jonathan, for getting our report filed with the state. Additionally, George Harrison and I completed the 2025 Waste Hub Executive Summary and Management Discussion and Analyst, which, along with other annual materials, will be submitted over the next several weeks to Havelock and Estes to start the 2025 annual review. This quarter, we also finalized a new office lease for additional office space at Godfrey Drive. There's plenty of space, so board members traveling from out of the area are more than welcome to utilize the space for meetings or a convenient stopover between appointments. This office was secured for our new staff member. The new flooring at the Hamden Waste Hub admin office was also completed. It looks great. Nice to get rid of that old carpet. You don't ever put hot carpet in a waste facility. On the MSW commercial side, we onboarded waste from Northern Light Medical Center in Bangor under the waste flow control. This has always been a concern, and I've been holding off for quite a while. This is a very large compactor that's dumped twice a week. We finally started bringing it in, and we brought it into a chair tip floor, and the results came back a lot better than expected. Waste is not bad. So we now have that coming into the Bangor blood waste flow control. Also this quarter, I engaged with metal recycling companies for competitive scrap metal proposals for NWF, but I also engaged in discussions with them about providing services to our members as a whole and also looking at our spoke office. I don't want to steal Kevin's thunder, but I'm going to give a little mirth. And then I'm wrapping up. This quarter, we saw years of planning and investment being materialized in a very real, very tangible way. We're no longer years away nor months away from processing waste through the material recovery facility known as the market. I've been telling the board for months upon months about build outs and new equipment arriving and what it's going to mean to our members. I'll be honest, I've also been pacing like an expecting father, waiting for things to arrive and for this to come to fruition. Well, it has arrived, it has been installed, and in just a bit, Kevin Hogan, CFO of MWS, is going to walk you through what has been accomplished, where things stand. But I'm gonna give you the headline. We are days away from start. That's all I have.
Cliffhanger.
I know, and I put George after, and I should have put Kevin. So we can swap it too if you want. That's up to you. So,
Oh, yeah. Running to it.
we'll go ahead and let George now. We all know. Hopefully Kevin can talk to him. So,
So George, you are up.
hi, George.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Great. And I'll keep it brief because I don't want to leave too much tension in Kevin's announcements. And frankly, in terms of what I was looking at, it was a fairly quiet quarter. Again, for those who may not be familiar, Wastehub has two sets of accounts. They have a operating fund for administration and management services, and then there are the funds that are part of the joint venture. I keep tabs on the joint venture. First of all, to have independent eyes on it and to prepare materials for audit at the end of the year, or I should say for review at the end of the year, which we've done. And just as a matter of another review internally and an internal control. Not that much happened, though I understand there are going to be some account changes coming up. But for this quarter, the accounts are still the same. If you look at the balance sheet and the statement of income or of operations in the asset management letter, the net position is about $9.5 million, but that includes the value of the site and the value of the Wastehub's holdings in MWS and JCO, which are basically not accounted for or not reviewed directly, but are taken indirectly from statements by others, and they have not been updated for 2025 yet, so that's noted on the statement. The main view is on the cash and investment accounts. Right now, that value under the control of the joint venture, or I should say of Wastehub on behalf of the joint venture, is about $3 million. The earnings in the quarter were about $15,000 or 0.5%. And I think there are no particular recommendations at this point, other than I know that there's been a process to consolidate accounts, and that's going to be, and Michael may have other things to say about that. So I think a fairly simple, straightforward report, but the accounting is in the record for the public to see, and happy to take questions. And if not, I'm just as happy to hear Kevin's update as everyone else.
George, it's Karen. I don't know if this is a question for you or for Mike, but thank you. But I'm wondering about the contingent payment, the receivable that we have, that's supposed to come from Municipal Waste Solutions, somebody. Wasn't there a like a drop dead date on that?
Yeah, it was originally set in the MIPA in the purchase agreement for July of 2026. It's been extended to 2027.
Okay, thank you. That's what I was trying to remember, which year it was.
Yeah, and it was originally tied to the commercial operation date, or the return to commercial operation, the RCOD, and it's now been updated to a harder date. On the other hand, as Kevin's going to tell us, the commercial operation date is coming at us very quickly. And so
The earlier of is what it is.
yeah. So
Yep. It's just
I think if I could interrupt and add, we negotiated, we received another $5 million in liquidation. Push it out to a date.
yes.
yeah, it is the date. So
And that made that more of a hard date than rather commercial operations.
Okay.
In exchange for that $5 million.
yeah, and I think the other part of that is we understand that commercial operation is going to be in two stages. There's the front end and then the back end. The back end might be delayed a little bit, rather than work through the complications that then meant for the agreement. This was a position that worked for everyone.
So perhaps the next report could more accurately reflect that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That would be great. Thank you.
Okay.
Because my memory is really.
Well, it's a good thing to have
I
these in the
remember
public
your
record.
reports.
Yeah,
Thank
no,
you.
it's a good thing to have this in the public record. And if you don't know it, Karen, then it definitely needs to be clarified.
Thank you.
So,
Can I add something to that? Because I skipped over. If the board remembers in October's meeting of 25, we talked about the cash we have on hand in other accounts, contingency, distribution and development of putting that into our wealth management account for Val and staff to move forward and meet with the wealth management provider and all that. We've done that. I just wrapped it up with Val in the last few weeks. So you will see that's just over $1 million that will be going into the wealth management account in our current portfolio that's already there. We had 2 meetings. I was the one that was kind of holding up, and we're just thinking to start getting that going. So that is, it's been earning great interest in where it's been sitting. So it's not like we've lost anything, but I meant to put that in my update. So those meetings that happen, they're just waiting on me again now to send them where all funds are, and then we'll get towards members on ones that are being moved down over 100,000. That's it.
On, to the news that we've all been waiting for, Kevin Hogan with Innovative's, first quarter report.
Just pull the mic close to you. Everybody wants to hear this.
No problem. As Mike mentioned, it's been a very busy quarter. So after wrapping up the demolition work we needed to do in late 2025, we started up construction in January 26. And so it's been a steady stream of work, with the first major piece of equipment being the EcoStar screen that we ordered from Europe, where it's pretty extensively used in the waste industry over there, arriving in January, to the last major piece of equipment, which was the trommel, which is very major. It took 2 truckloads to bring it in. Was delivered and installed on March 23rd. And so since then, it's really been hooking those things up, and we are actively commissioning the system right now. We've also been staffing up. Our headcount across the organization, I think, is at about 30 at this point. So we are ready to go. I would, the expectation and this point is going to happen. Waste is going to be hitting the system in the next week. And so once that happens, we'll ramp up the system over the next few months, with the expectation of being able to handle all member waste through the facility over the next few months. Edgar can't strangle me because he's not here. But we're going to do that as quickly as possible. And we're very excited to get this thing going. And so that's a brief one, but again, I think it really comes down to the punchline, which is we're finally here. Thank you guys for your patience. I know it took longer than everyone wanted, including us. Mike, thank you for your support, getting us here. You're a vital member of the team. We probably couldn't have done it without you. We certainly couldn't have couldn't have done it if you didn't have the facility like it was. So exciting time for MWS. I think exciting time for Wastehub, and we're excited to see what happens next.
We're really close when all the new equipment's showing up. They weren't going to bring in new loaders and new pickers and new lifts and all that stuff. And the last 2 weeks, there's been lifts showing up and new loaders. We got a new material handler quite some time ago, but that was a key piece of equipment for loading waste. But a mini loader just showed up for loading cardboard baler. I believe cardboard went into baler yesterday.
Yeah, we're commissioning the baler right now.
So that was exciting, and lifts so that everybody can get all up on the equipment and clean it out. And then just seeing the last week, the staff over there. So yeah. So we're going to have you all over, but in twos, because with all the, we're definitely right now what we're talking about, and we're kind of picking a time in May to do the, I want to say the grand opening, but it's not the reopening. It's not like going to be a ribbon cutting or anything, but we're going to be we want to make sure most of the construction people are off site. There's a lot of belts that came out that got piled up. Metal guys are coming in and cleaning up. The smart thing about our partner and something they did is it wasn't in the way, it didn't get touched. Didn't spend any money moving stuff out of the way, like the pulper and stuff like that. We're not using the pulper, but it wasn't in the way. So all that stuff still exists. I believe we need to get through these few hurdles, work out the bugs and tweak things. Then the anaerobic digestion from that point will be the focus moving forward. Great time. It's kind of planned with winter ending, spring coming. He's well aware of our plans for an anaerobic digester. So we just gotta clean up a few contractors, get some metal moved around. But I think what we'll do in mid-May is we'll have the DEP in. Between the DEP and the board, those are the first folks I really want in the door. That's what really supported us to get here today. And we'll do some kind of press release and that type of thing as officially, the sixth rank. That's the plan. Be great to have everybody over and walk through. I'm amazed every time I go through and I'm there all the time to see. Any questions for Kevin? Good job. Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
At this point, just
I guess what we should do is probably talk about, I think you have to do, public comment.
and also to let you know that the next meeting is July 22nd, 6. Anybody here has any public comment? Anything online with any?
Not live with public comment.
Love to talk.
What's that?
Do I let them ask?
You can message it, you just read, usually. Or you can live talk if you want.
Hi.
Hi, Christina.
Hi. I'm with the Trenton Solid Waste Committee. I'm the chair of the Trenton Solid Waste Committee, and I did email Mike a few questions this morning. Let me just look them up. Hang on. Yeah, so we got your email about the extended producer responsibility law compliance. And we were wondering, can you give us any details about how you keep track per town of what goes through the NWS facility? And we are wondering how you keep track and report that to the state. And will our town get a report from Municipal Waste Solutions about the waste relevant to that law? Or will you just report that directly to the state?
So how it's gonna, I'll take this in a couple of parts. The email we sent out basically just gives you an email address. You just have to email the EPR people at the DEP, which was in that letter we sent out, the constant contact, and just tell them you plan on participating in EPR. It's that simple on that. So how it's gonna work is everything that comes into the facility processing scale and everything that leaves the facility processing scale. So what will happen is we'll have total tonnage that came in, and what portion of that tonnage is allocated is your tonnage, which is recorded by community or municipality. So it's your total tonnage, your piece of what your total tonnage was to the whole tonnage. And then what will happen is the recycling going out will be a whole number, and what percentage of that recycling going out is allocated to your percentage of tonnage. And then we will share that total number with you, not with the state. And then you will have a formula that you will use of what that total tonnage of recycling is applies to packaged material for your EPR rebates. But we will have that broken down for you and share that with you, but it will be your responsibility to apply for the EPR rebate. But we will be providing you with data to do so when it comes to volumes.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you. That's very helpful. And hazardous waste questions. Have you
We
been?
don't want
Yeah, I imagine you've been getting some coming through on the test runs, and I imagine you have to get rid of that in a properly compliant way. So we were wondering what you did with hazardous waste that came through in household trash, but we in Trenton have a need for some more safe options for hazardous waste disposal for our residents. We only have the Acadia Disposal District once a year hazardous waste drop off. And we were wondering if there are any plans for the Municipal Waste Hub to offer hazardous waste disposal options for the member towns.
So, you want me? So, not at the facility in Hampton. Facility in Hampton is a commercial facility permitted for municipal solid waste only.
Mhm.
But we've been working on spokes over the last year, and as we develop spokes, we will look at those spokes to see if there's resources for things like that. Hazardous waste is so widespread, different material, of course, we don't want to be handling anything that's unsafe, but that's right down to lithium batteries and that type of thing, which new rules are passing on those. So currently, we don't have an outlet because of the commercial facility and it's not permanent for those things. But we know that is a member need. And as we develop these folks, we'll look at what solution we provide for that need.
Okay, thank you.
Unless you want to come.
Oh, no,
Tony's got something he'd like to add.
yeah, Christina mentioned ADD, that's Acadia Disposal District. And I've been the chair of that for 21 years. Trenton's a member. We typically have a household collection for hazardous waste and universal waste in September. We're considering a second one for May. That's the many good news. The bad news was ADD applied for some it just has some work to do. Congressionally directed spending money, and we were successful in getting that because we wanted to develop small regional hazardous waste collection in Southwest Harbor to the ADD towns, of which there are 6. Once that word got out on the street, all of a sudden, you thought we were bringing in nuclear waste. And then someone mentioned, well, we'll put a moratorium on importing hazardous waste to the town of Southwest Harbor. So we said the heck with it. We just tabled that. We're not going to do that. And I've ever tried to contact Congress. Easy question. I'm the year in the making, and I've gone in a complete circle as far as getting an answer to, can we change the use that we applied for to something different? Again, I've come full circle. So that's not going to happen. I haven't given up.
You done?
Are there any other public comments online?
You all set?
Okay, so I guess at this point in time, we'll be, looking for a motion to go into an executive session.
I move that we go into executive session pursuant 1 MRS 4056F.
Just give us a minute to switch over.
So, at the result of our executive session, the board decided that, because of the overwhelming response to the scholarship, we are going to, direct staff to, go through the applications and narrow them down to 12, that they will, present to us by the 8th. We've decided on 5 $2,000 scholarships, and once those recommendations are presented to us, the communications committee will be fielding committee to go through the applications. And we're planning on meeting on the 15th. the time will be determined. We'll be doing a doodle poll, right off the bat to determine the exact time that we will be meeting. Settle on the winners of the scholarship. I missed anything, someone jump in and add to that.
No, we we'll be reading through these and then, like you said, the communication from you will be on the 15th. And, we'll order them from there. That's me.
So I guess the next item on the agenda is to enter to another executive session. So I would accept the motion for that.
We move into executive session pursuant to 1 MRS 4056E to consult with legal counsel on rights and duties.
Second.
And moved and seconded, all in favor? So, conclusion of the last executive session, there will be no action. At this time, I'm ready for adjournment.
Oh,
Something unanimous? Sure, right there.
Super. Thank you.
Oh, I forgot to move the side. Was anybody still on?
Yep.
Yeah, 4 feet.